line. She's ready to do the hit. The whistles are being blown. She takes a...
All right, well, here it is. Backup quarterback. Chandler Harnish throws, and Pam Oliver, wham. Let me tell you, that ball had a tight spiral, and it had some hump baby on it. And, hey, Pam, toughest person in this stadium.
Thanks for you guys sending me the Facebook.
Oh, yeah, we apologize on that.
This kid is physical. He's strong. I mean, arguably the top offensive lineman this morning in the one-on-ones. I mean, he's out there with a kid like Cameron Robinson. And what?
You know, all of a sudden there really have been questions about this defense, which is ranked 21st. Not having Benson is going to hurt. You know, I had an interesting talk with offensive coordinator Tom Butt. Did you guys see that football? I saw it. Anyway.
And I know we're moving fast, you know, get physical out there on the field. And we come at full speed and she's sitting down, you know, taking pictures. I know that kind of hurt her. So I had to make sure she was all right.
What did you say?
No, I just rubbed her head. It looked like I hit her head. Yeah.
Welcome back, Matt. And so Justin and I went down to Mississippi over the weekend to make sure that Phil was still a living, breathing human being. And we're able to confirm that and bring him back on the show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to put the Pirate King in his place, but...
You went down and you grabbed him by his ear and hauled him back up.
Yeah, I even brought cold weather down with me.
See, George was up for the challenge, though. Glad that not only did we win, but we beat the spread, most importantly. So Kirby Smart just keeps on rolling on.
Doing his thing there, Georgia. It was fun. We had a good weekend.
Yeah, lots of cowbells.
That is true for sure. Well, we're coming off Brady is now 2-0 post-divorce. Broncos had 14 days off and still only scored 10 points. Jeff Saturday got his first win. We may have seen the game of the year, and the Eagles had their first loss. What do we want to talk about first?
Well, first and foremost, I put a $50 bet this week on Tampa winning the division. So I feel like I'm buying into the angry Brady narrative.
There we go.
And you figure, if you simplify things, you assume, can Tampa Bay beat the Eagles? And I've got a lot of respect for Jalen Hurts, don't get me wrong. I've got money on Nick Sirianni as Coach of the Year that I placed before the year. I like what the Eagles are doing. But peak angry Brady, you figure, there's only going to be a year for it now is the time. And you can still get Tampa winning the conference at a nice plus 750 on betonline.ag. We need a referral number, but I put a solid $50 on that. I've made worse decisions in my life, so again, I'm all in on angry Brady, now impoverished from FTX, fighting for his paycheck.
That was going to be my next question. Is he more angry because of that or because of the divorce?
Well, and now that the Gunshin is hanging out with some jiu-jitsu instructor in the islands, if that doesn't simply further fuel his rage like Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, I do not know what else to expect from him. So I'm going all in on the narrative.
You have the Bucks at what, are they 5-5, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
5-5 in charge of the division, really.
Yeah.
But the Falcons, I guess the Falcons, the Saints tied with them at this point. I mean, both of those are, I think, afterthoughts. The offense is healthy now. The offensive line seems to be better in sync. He's got all of his weapons back. Rashawn White is coming on as a Leonard Fournette spell. So yeah, I'm going. And you look at the teams above him within the NFC, at least by betting odds. It is the Eagles, which understandable, no complaints there. You have the 49ers, which again I'll still take Tom Brady, particularly over Jimmy G, and that just adds on That's just further salt in the wound right there. The Vikings, which, hey, respect there. The Cowboys, who I still don't believe in, won't believe in until they show it. And the Seahawks right behind them at 18-1. Good. Geno Smith almost took Germany, but not this time.
You would think that 9 wins will win you the NFC South.
This year.
Yeah. How's it going, bud?
It's going well.
Sorry, I asked you that as you had something in your mouth. My bad.
That's all right. That's all right.
Geno Smith like timing
He's got
right
something in his mouth.
Oh my goodness!
I can't swing it if it's a softball. I can't not swing at it.
Fair enough. So welcome back. What's up, man?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to do my post politics detox right now.
Mm-hmm.
Time to cycle full onto Georgia recruiting, Georgia winning, and hopefully some gambling bets. So I need some purity to my system right now.
Good. Well,
but I'm getting a little worried about Geno Smith though, Matt. You know, he's skyrocketing up the comeback player of the year odds right now, getting dangerously close to my 25-1 Saquon Barkley bet. So he needs to cool his jets a little bit.
Oh, Saquon. Yeah, I just was listening to. I don't remember who I was listening to. Was just talking. Oh, it might have been Adam Levitan and Evan Silva. I think on one of the recent pods, they were talking about that precise topic, the Geno versus Saquon for comeback player of the year. And I think Evan said that he thinks it should be Geno, and Evan and Adam said that he thinks it should be Saquon. It might have been the other way around, but I think that between the two of them that Geno would most likely get it, assuming he stays on his trajectory, just because he came from absolutely nowhere. Yeah. And Saquon came from, he played last year. And then a quarterback versus a running back. But I mean, people have been talking about Geno for MVP, and from the very beginning, I'm like, no, there's no Geno for MVP going on here. To be the MVP, you can't be leading your team to wins while playing mistake-free football with some great plays scattered in there. You have to be absolutely just dominating the entire league and carrying your team by yourself, like Patrick Mahomes is doing.
Yeah.
That's what voters are going to go for. So, so I think that Geno has clearly shown enough that he's a shoo-in to be extended. I think there's no question about that he's going to get at least the Ryan Tannehill deal. And I think he's earned it. I think it's more than deserved.
He's looking so good the Broncos are looking to trade for him now.
Hey,
I'll give you
back. The Seahawks do have another starting quarterback on the roster, so
right now he is above Justin Herbert, Tom Brady, and really rubbing it in on just the way the MVP race has become a position-driven business. Tyreek Hill, now it's 75-1 odds compared to Geno Smith's 33-1. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I would definitely take Geno over him just because the impact of a quarterback versus a wide receiver. But if there was a wide receiver who would compete with a quarterback, it would be not only Tyreek Hill, but 2022 Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Because it's baffling to me. I keep hearing all these people talking about Tua and his accuracy. And I don't know how many Tyreek Hill highlights I've seen this year that had an accurate ball. So many of these, he should have like at least 5 more touchdowns than he does, because part of this is just a function of it being Tyreek Hill and no quarterback can hit him in stride. I mean, even Patrick Mahomes would underthrow him, but I've seen him coming back for so many balls, and he's got his defender cleared by 5 yards and it turns into a jump ball and he comes down with it and then he still adds some yak after it. But I think that what Mike McDaniel has done is just incredible. It is phenomenal watching this young man make the NFL his bitch.
Love to see it.
Yeah, back to Geno. Like, there's no precedent for what he's doing. Like, I can't even think of a comparable thing of a player coming back. You mentioned Tannehill, but it's not. Tannehill has never been at the level that Geno's playing at right now.
And Tannehill had higher expectations as a starter to begin with. Like Geno was on a bad team with a perennially bad team, and he was a 2nd round pick, I think. And Tannehill was a first-round pick who was seen as the franchise. It was Tannehill or bust. So, which is kind of funny because I remember Tannehill was a wide receiver in college, and then it was just like his last year, I think, that he converted to quarterback. But no, there's no precedent. I can't think of any player that has ever just completely turned it around, just completely blown everybody away by how good they've been unexpectedly. What's interesting is that now going back and looking at his past numbers, like with the context of this season now, you can actually see what was back there before, that he was a true example of a quarterback who had the talent to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, but couldn't succeed just because of his surrounding cast, the incompetence of his surrounding cast. And it makes me wonder, how many other quarterbacks have we lost? How many other Geno stories have we lost because they came in with a shitty front office, just never got a chance, and then never got a chance down the road?
Was it still Rex Ryan?
Yeah.
Was it?
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, particularly when you see like New York, narrative shapes so much because he had what was it? The second year he got punched in the jaw, like during practice.
Yeah.
And so there, that was the narrative wrote itself, right? Geno Smith is not a leader of men, right? And therefore they extrapolate outwards. But that's what I really want to see in XFL or some sort of spring league work. And particularly what would be ideal would be to have the ability for an NFL team to sublet a backup quarterback. Maybe it's not someone with Geno Smith's draft capital necessarily, but to park them and allow them to get snaps in a developmental league, you need to have the quarterback protections and all that with it just to make it work. But I mean, you think back at like NFL Europe in the World League, where you had Jake Delhomme, you had Kurt Warner. I mean, maybe the closest example to Geno Smith would be like a Tommy Maddox with Pittsburgh back in the day. Where he went to go be XFL MVP for a year before keeping having a pretty good year and a half with Pittsburgh. But there's something we said about you need reps. You need live reps in this game.
Yeah.
There's a pretty good model for this kind of thing. It's a different sport, but within soccer, where you have teams that have basically feeder leagues that, and you have the minors in baseball, same kind of concept. And I think that with a league like that, you would have to be fine with having maybe kind of like a model like the Premier League or Serie A, where you're going to have 3 to 5 teams that are just going to absolutely dominate every year, perennially, year after year after year. And that's just kind of the nature of how the league is structured. Because number one, you're going to have the teams that are just vastly superior, the NFL teams that are vastly superior at scouting and planning and managing that relationship. And then, like you said, though, there would have to be quarterback protections. So like you'd have to make the quarterback position even easier to play down there. And that's going to mean that the teams with the good quarterbacks are going to be even better. Because I think there's probably a disproportionate effect there. It does bear asking, if you have quarterback protections, then are you actually preparing the players for the NFL? So how do you bridge that? How do you balance those two things?
That's one of the issues with like the way that high schools are developing quarterbacks. Like I think the best example is Spencer Rattler, right? Who came in as such a high recruit. He had one of the top like 4 Heisman odds choices when he was with Lincoln Riley down in Oklahoma. Did not have a very good year. Ends up getting benched for Caleb Williams, but he's someone who is Jim Donnan's remarked about this on the Georgia podcast, is that he's a great 7-on-7 quarterback. And so much of the quarterback position, right? It's what happens when the play breaks down and you've got a man in your face and you're able to maneuver the pocket and kind of get that second and third read. And so there definitely is that dynamic where, how much are you retarding progress by taking away a very important aspect of the game. But yeah, I think this is particularly for like third quarterbacks. If you took if you take the 65th best quarterback in the NFL, and you put them on, some of this developmental league rosters, I think that's a really, it's a great opportunity. And the other side of it, like the two big.
So we're in Baker Mayfield territory here.
I mean, basically this point. The fact that he started, I'm no doubt. I wish I could get a prop bet on Baker Mayfield getting pulled by Sam Darnold before the end of the game this week.
I might even be putting in some Sam Darnold DFS lineups.
There you go. Really shooting the moon.
That like he gets pulled after throwing like a pick six and throwing another interception on the first couple of drives, and Sam Darnold comes in down 2 scores and having to try to throw his way out of hell, and could easily put up 300 yards in 3 quarters. So that's exactly the same wavelength I was on.
Yeah.
I briefly want to talk about quarterback that I was sort of shitting on when he came into the starting lineup. Also a surprising guy, and Taylor Heineke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a fun game the other night.
He's
AAF alum. Yeah.
Yeah.
His body mechanics when he does that play action are fascinating to watch. I like it. He's very, very deliberate with it, and it fakes me out at some points. It's good. I like it. I like this guy.
He's very I think Matt said this a few weeks ago, but he's Favre-like in that he just doesn't care. He's just going to sling the ball around, and he's going to throw some picks, but he's also going to make some stuff happen too.
And his
he's
exuberance.
like if Favre had Chad Pennington's arm.
Oh God, dang! Boy, that's attractive thought. His exuberance at the end, that was a clever move. I would have been pissed if I were an Eagles fan, but that was pretty damn clever what he did, and he knew what he was doing. And when he got up, how excited he was. It was kind of hard not to root for him. But I love Jalen Hurts, of course. But yeah, I mean, good for those Redskins.
I thought that call was just unfathomably bad. It was so bad to make that call, right? To get suckered into making a call like that. To me, I don't want officials that are just going to be like reactive suckers. I want an official to be able to have some kind of context for the game situation, the impact of the call, and you have to be able to tell when. I mean, these calls are definitionally judgment calls, so you need to exercise good judgment. Yeah. And it was very clear that who was it? Brandon Graham was trying to pull up. He was like he'd come around the corner and his whole weight was going forward, and he was trying to pull back and trying not to hit him. It's just you can't allow one team to just you're going outside the game of football when you're actually trying to bait people into committing penalties when they're not trying to.
It kind of reminded me of, this is a little bit different, but I'm biased, so I thought back to, the first person that, as the kicker's about to kick, to ever do this was Mike Shanahan against the Raiders when he was in Denver. And the first time he did it as Seabass was starting to kick, and I was like, what the fuck was that? That's cheating. You can't call a timeout right there. What's he supposed to do? But it happened, and they thought, well, that's within the rules, and it pissed me off. But it's a little chicken shit. I think that's the kind of thing, if someone does that again, they're going to look at. But it felt like he was playing the refs, and he won a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, and the refs should not be that easy to play.
Right. Yeah.
It's unfathomable that the Redskins are even talking about maybe bringing Wentz back into the starting lineup.
Yeah, they're not good. There's no way they can do that.
I think the only thing would be his contract, right? Like that's the only thing that.
Yeah, if it's a contract thing, but the team seems. I mean, I'd be pissed if I was a team, on that team and that happened.
And you've got, him being a respected veteran or whatever. It's sometimes can be kind of in poor taste if somebody loses their job because they got hurt. But at the same time, are you going to flush your season just to respect the guy's feelings when the guy's not going to be on the team next year?
Right. You know what Ben Shapiro always says.
Yeah, that's right. And that's a fact, Jack.
That's right. Did you guys make any picks yet, Mark?
No, we haven't.
No, we just got started.
Okay, cool.
You have a pick of the week for us, Buck, or are we going to wait?
For the first time ever, I have not scripted anything. I just wanted to play this by the seat of my pants, and I do have a pick of the week, the Broncos. How about that?
There you go. Going bold.
Yeah. Is there? We can go into picks. Is there anything else from week? I was going to say week one, last week reactions.
I am glad to see Jeff Saturday win. Like, I
Oh
will
my
say.
God, get out of here, though.
Yeah, I like
Look who
it.
he was
Yeah.
playing.
I get that. I get that. I mean, someone that he was criticizing on Twitter the week before.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Way to go, Josh McDaniels, and stand up for your team against this jerk that was criticizing you. Oh,
Yeah.
you do suck. Who knew?
But like all of the whole like, oh, this is an affront to coaching. It's like, well, for one, like, most coaches are not equipped to be head coaches. We've seen this, and it's just like I love coaches as players. Maybe that just goes back to like my Madden 10 days where players were retired and then you could sign them as your coach, and I've always been kind of fond on that. Go Hines Ward in the XFL. But I love seeing just the media narrative just kind of get thrown in their face. We'll see if it continues. I mean, I don't like Jim Irsay, so it's kind of I'm very conflicted on that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see that for Jim. For
How
Jim
long
Irsay.
before Deion Sanders is in the league?
Well, he's we'll see if he ends up in Atlanta with Georgia Tech or Auburn, one of these college coaching gigs. But more coaches in the league, better off.
He wants Florida State, but I don't know if they're going to fire Norvell anytime soon.
Not right
That's a
now.
different league. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not catch the game of the year. I don't know if you guys. I mean,
We did.
I was traveling. Yeah.
That was. Were you here during that one, Matt, or was that after you left?
It was the afternoon game, right?
Buffalo and Minnesota.
It was an afternoon game.
I believe it
This
was
is the morning.
No, it was noon because my buddy was pissed because here locally they put the Cowboys game
That's
on.
right. That's right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so-
Okay. Yeah.
so
So
we
we
had to switch
did
channels.
watch it there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
we weren't like those other suckers without Sunday ticket. We just switched to a satellite channel.
Justin Jefferson was just
balling.
Matt you had a
next
good
level.
stat that you had read, like 60% of his catches or something were some kind of thing where the percentage were against him actually catching it.
Oh yeah. It was something like he had 8 out of 10 targets were 8 out of his 10 targets I think were less than 50% catchable, or 8 out of 10 catches were less than 50% catchable. So everyone's talking about Kirk Cousins, and you just look at Justin Jefferson's receiving stats, and it'll tell you just how well Kirk Cousins was not playing.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of an indictment on the QB, I
Yeah.
suppose.
But that's why you have a Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of just real quick of Kadarius Toney when he high pointed that ball on the Chiefs over like 3 different cornerbacks? And as he's coming back, getting ready to go up for the ball, he's adjusting and tightening his gloves. Like in the middle of his jump, he's tightening his gloves. So he was dunking on guys.
I know Giants fans are pissed off because his injury that he was playing throughout his time with the Giants seems to have disappeared completely now that he's with Kansas City.
And then he does his very first touchdown. He after his very first touchdown, he does a like limping, like hobbling, pretending he has a hamstring injury.
Yeah, ouch.
I didn't see that. No, he's
Yeah,
running in.
he hopped on his right foot into the end zone.
Nice.
That kind of makes me wonder if he wasn't holding out on the team, but the team was refusing to play him. And they were saying that he had a hamstring injury, and that's why they're not playing him. And he was like, I'm perfectly fine. I can play. But for whatever disciplinary reason, they weren't letting him play. Because it seems like something kind of similar happened with Galladay and maybe Darius Slayton as well. All 3 of these guys just kind of like really weirdly had their time cut and didn't seem like they were that hurt, and then came back and were fine. So I wonder if this is Dable. Maybe he had some revolutionaries in his wide receiver room, and he just needed to lock people down for a little bit.
Well, speaking of pettiness, that can bring us right into tomorrow night's game. Titans versus Packers. I'm sure you guys can guess who I am referring to as petty.
Yeah. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, this is actually a Thursday night matchup I'm looking forward to. I haven't had too many of these this year.
Looks like the spread is so Green Bay's is this, let me make sure I got the right. Green Bay's at home.
Yeah, it looks like it.
At Green Bay. Okay, yeah. So Green Bay by -3 and over under is 41. There's a lot of there's 1, 2, 3 maybe it's 3 or 4, 5 different lines at 41 and one at 41.5. There's This is a low scoring week, and it's already a low scoring year.
I feel like the Packers, they got their win last week, which is a good win over Dallas. Titans seem to be in a, I don't want to call it a free fall, but they've kind of been exposed. Like they're a one-trick pony, right? They're going to play smash mouth football. If you can stop that, then you're going to win. Green Bay has a good defense. I'm leaning towards taking the Packers and covering the 3-point spread as well. And they're
I'm leaning with the Packers in the under on this one. For much the same, the Packers just seem like one of those teams that, I mean, they seem competent up and down. I know Aaron Rodgers can be temperamental, but I feel the more he has trust in his wide receivers, the better off that offense is going to be in the second half of the season. And I also just, I mean, Willis isn't a quarterback.
No,
he won't throw it across the middle, which is fine. But it's not fine. It's not fine at all. I take that back. No, it's not fine at all. He's a wildcat quarterback every time you snap the ball, and it's fine if you can run the ball with Travis Henry. I just don't think Green Bay's defense is going to allow, in particular, as many Georgia players as it has on that defense right now. I don't think they're going to allow that to play.
Will Tannehill be back? I thought he was.
I thought Willis had another week, but I might be wrong on that.
I thought that Tannehill played last week.
He did. I thought so too. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I was wrong on that. I saw his stats. I was traveling last week as well. I thought Willis had another week.
Okay,
it still doesn't change my mind.
Interesting.
One stat that I heard recently is that what's his name? Derrick Henry. Over the last 3 weeks, while his production has been a little bit lower after he was dominating for a few games there, and over the last 3 weeks his production has been down, and Dontrell Hilliard's has been up. So they've balanced that load a little bit more, and he's also been on the injury report. So it's possible that he had like 2 or 3 consecutive games with 30-plus touches, and as it was inevitable he was going to get dinged up. So it could be that he's a little dinged up now. Looking at the Packers do have a really bad run defense. So they're 30th in rush DVOA, and they're 8th in pass DVOA. So they're a run funnel defense. In other words, they encourage other teams to run the ball.
That's kind of the worst combination to play the Titans.
Right. So if Henry was completely healthy and hadn't been seeing his workload diminished a little bit the last few weeks, then this would be probably a smash pick for the Titans for me here. As it is, it's a little tougher because I don't know if he's fully healthy. But I like being a little on the frisky side, so I think I'm going to take Tennessee at Lambeau. I'm going to take them for the upset.
I also like being frisky, especially when Matt is.
Talking about things in your mouth and all that, so it's.
I know, and now I'm going to be admitting that I have a man crush on Derrick Henry. So there we are. I'm going with the Titans as well, and like last week, well, it didn't work. I was going to say my pick with if Josh Allen wasn't playing, then I would have. I lost that one anyway. But I was going to say if Tannehill's not playing, then of course I'm picking Green Bay. But as far as I know, Tannehill is playing, and I got the Titans.
He's in.
Oh, good. Yeah, I have the Titans in this one. And I think next year though, Derek Carr will look good at Green Bay.
Look good as in like he's gonna look good not being in Oakland for you and just doing.
No, I'm sad that he's not going to be in Las Vegas. I want to trade the coach, not the quarterback.
Everybody looks good with a G on their helmet, and that's why I'm going with the Packers because I think the Packers winning would be the upset because they've been so poor, but. Last half of November on in Lambeau, I don't think you just waltz in there and march out of there with a win. And I think Green Bay they just needed some confidence, and I think they got that last week, beating a much better Cowboys team. Yeah, go Pack, go! I'll be Justin since he can't be here, and I'll root for the Packers.
Say it like he would say it.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I think that I think Aaron Rodgers sucks, and they should just get rid of the team and implode it, and see if maybe we can bring back Brett Favre. At least he can steal some welfare from Wisconsin, and that's why they're going to beat the Titans.
That was
Very nice.
really, really good, actually.
That was phenomenal. Looks like it's going to be about 25 degrees at game time tomorrow.
Who wants to tackle Derrick Henry when it's 25 degrees outside?
Wow, that's a fair point, too.
I'll try. All right.
Jets at Patriots.
This
Are the
game's
Jets a real
boring.
team? Can we
Yes.
say that yet? They're
Yes.
they're real.
I consider them more real than the Giants.
That's a good New York discussion.
They're scheming things up nicely for Zach Wilson. I mean, Wilson's still, I think, I'm not convinced that Wilson is a legit quarterback, but their offensive scheme is designing around it. So
minimizing his impact on the offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what having a good coach would be like. That's cool.
I've heard about
by
that.
the way, on the Raiders subject, I saw a tweet today that who knows about tweets, but I saw a tweet today that the Raiders would like to fire Josh McDaniels, but they can't because they owe him too much money, and they are so cash poor that they wouldn't be able to afford to fire him and then pay a coach to replace him. So
with the Gruden contract still in the being
Probably.
paid, I assume.
Yeah.
the sound of it was they wouldn't be able to fire him until at least after next season.
No,
I guess
Jim
I can save
Harbaugh.
money next year. I don't have to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Joe, did
Anybody
you hear
know
that same thing?
When it surprised me, I know Mark Davis has had a constant cash flow problem. I know that is said to have played a role in the Khalil Mack trade a while back. That that there is a cash flow issue with the Raiders organization.
They fired.
structure.
Yeah, they fired the president of business operations in the off season, and they said there was some kind of accounting scam or issue that had happened. So
along with Malik, with Mark Davis just like being really creepy around women, which like you just look at, I'm just Mark Davis is someone that just looks like the sort of person who talks a lot about anti-racism just to hide from being a completely worthless individual who inherited everything in his life.
yes,
And so that's kind of my operating framework because I hate it because I love Al Davis. Like,
yeah, me too.
I love everything that Al Davis personified, but the problem is that the offspring of great men very rarely are great.
Right.
And I think Mark Davis is very much in that category.
Yep.
Some people are born on third base and think they hit a triple to get there.
Yeah, and they can't even get a decent haircut afterwards, which is just
His dad had the coolest look ever, and he looks like, as they said in Dumb and Dumber, a pumpkin pie haircut freak motherfucker or whatever. But
Is it possible for me to share my screen here real quick?
Yeah.
I want to show a.
careful, close those tabs.
Let me see.
There's a
Or
weird
don't,
connection going on between Matt and Buck right now.
Okay, so let's
Might be right
go.
All right.
Chrome
While you're
tab.
sharing that,
There we go.
here we go. Nice.
Oh, it is gonna.
Oh my lord!
Barbers in Vegas are hard to come by. Golly. Oh my
Okay.
god.
I don't even know what. Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't even know what kind of life someone could live to even get themselves to think that like that's a reasonable way to even exist, much less leave the house.
Yeah,
I'd-
I guarantee you he's in the Libertarian Party. For sure. He's in which caucus would he be in?
Ooh,
Pragmatic caucus, I
yeah,
think.
he's a
I don't
brag.
think it matters at this point.
Yeah,
I don't want to think about Mark Davis and the word cock in the same sentence.
no kidding. Yeah, a friend of mine actually knew him when a friend of mine dated a Raiderette when they were in LA, and he said, "Man, Al's son." But this is when he told me this when Al was still alive. He said Al's son is a complete idiot. He grew up just spoiled, doing cocaine. He's just a moron. and then Al died and Mark took over. I'm like, uh-oh.
This is like the inverse of Jerry Jones and his son, because it seems like Jerry Jones' son sort of pulls back on the reins of Jerry Jones doing stupid things.
I heard that he pulled back the reins on him drafting Johnny Manziel.
I heard that as well, which very smart. Like he was going to draft him high too.
And that's such a Jerry Jones move, especially here in Texas. That I know he thought like, I'll make a big impact. Wait till they see me make this phone call, for sure.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty good too, Buck.
Thanks.
So Mark Davis is just like the real life Billy Madison, but without the actual tests.
Or the what's the one with Chris Farley where his dad owned the parts?
Tommy Boy.
Yeah, Tommy Boy, something like that.
Well, I can get a good look at a football team by sticking my head up somebody's ass, but I'd rather watch it on TV or something.
And to Tho's point, after those allegations of some kind of sexual harassment around the building or something that Mark Davis said something inappropriate to a female or something like that, all of a sudden it floats up. Raiders are giving a look to Colin Kaepernick.
Right.
And at the time, some of my close Raider friends were like, oh no, we can't get this guy. I'm like, we're not going to get Colin Kaepernick. This is because Mark Davis knows how to play the woke media. So they're going to throw his whole sexual allegation thing will be out the window. And we're woke now because we looked at Kaepernick. That was it.
So do we want to pick Raiders, Broncos, and skip to Jets and Patriots?
Moving the
We're moving the Raiders. Talking about Jets and Patriots.
Shit, I'm sorry for doing that.
No worries.
I just want to hear the headline that the Raiders are moving to Ferguson, Missouri. Just to really hammer it home.
Oh my god.
One quick point on the Jets versus Giants subject. In total DVOA this season, Jets are 9th in the NFL. Giants are 19th. So that's I too share the opinion that the Jets are more real than the Giants.
It sucks that Breece Hall is out, but
yeah,
I hope that James Robinson can play that role that he was playing with Michael Carter. But even with Wilson's limitations, they're a fun offense to watch. Like Phil was saying, they scheme up some pretty creative things. Yeah. And that's why I'm picking the Jets over the Patriots, because I think they're going to split this year. Because they kind of built up Jets over Patriots a few weeks ago because they hadn't beat them in however long. And so I think this is the week that the Jets get the Pats. Even if it is, I think it is in Foxborough, isn't it?
Yeah. I look down, I'm scrolling all the way down to the bottom of the team ranks here to see where the Patriots are at. And I couldn't find them, and I had to scroll all the way back up and realize that the Patriots are 12th in the NFL in total DVOA. That's driven largely, or it's driven entirely by being the number 3 defense and the number 6 special teams.
There you go.
They're the number 26 offense. So they haven't quite figured out how to keep their quarterback from impacting the game as much. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bailey Zappi back soon because it's kind of a similar situation as with Taylor Heineke, that if you can get accuracy and mobility out of your quarterback, then he can turn the ball over. He can be not that great on third down. He can have a lot of these issues that quarterbacks have, but your team will still be successful in general. So, yeah, I think that even though they're fairly close here statistically, I'm going to take the Jets because I think that they're just a better team just in general. I think they're more cohesive. I think they've got more, to be intangible, they've got more momentum coming into this game. So, yeah, I'll take the Jets.
Can you check and see what the Pats' offensive DVOA was last year? I kind of want to rub it in Buck's face if it's similar to what it is this year. There's a discernible difference between Josh McDaniels' offense and a Matt Patricia offense. This is kind of what I want to see.
Offensive DVOA for New England last year, they were number 9 in offensive DVOA. Right. Yeah. 7 rush, 10 pass.
So yeah, they were better. But
okay, that helps me a little. I just read a tweet too from a Raiders insider that said, "I've talked to multiple players, and the problem is not Josh McDaniels." I wonder who. I know.
It's cryptic.
I've heard that like in the past, his issue was being too much of a dickhead,
Yeah.
And that his issue now is that he's being too accommodating,
too
soft.
He's too nonchalant about this whole thing.
Yeah. But that press conference that Derek Carr did was I don't ever want to be in the spot as a man to have to go up on a presser and cry because my team is so bad.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're crying because it was like a bad break, or you like lost poorly in the playoffs or whatever, or if you won, Russell Wilson against the Rodgers, or against the Rodgers, against the Packers. But man, having to go stand on that podium and cry because your team just can't get it together would just be next level humiliating.
Yeah, and knowing him, I say knowing him, I feel like I do. It's been 9 years we've been together, but that was genuine. Like he doesn't fake his way through stuff, other than trying to be nice when people ask him about shit that he should be saying. But yeah, that thing is that was genuine. But for this game, sorry to keep derailing it, I picked the Jets over New England. Boy, a couple of years ago, who would have ever said something like that? But I do.
I'm going with the Patriots in this one, just because if you figure the Jets' advantage is scheme, and you have Belichick that hates to lose to the Jets, I'm still going on again. Just the hate-filled narratives just keep running strong. I think Belichick is still pissed off at the Jets.
I resign as HC of the New York Jets.
Yeah. Great moment in history. So if any team's going to rein in a schematically beneficial Jets team, I think it might be the Patriots still, but. I also feel bad about assuming that the Patriots are good enough this year to sweep the Jets. So I'm torn there, but I'm going with the Patriots off of gambler's bias there.
And I agree with everything Tho said. And I was going to pick the Patriots just out of spite, just because if everybody's going one direction, got to make it interesting. Same as I think, though, Belichick, I think, the Jets are just too young, and I think Belichick can figure them out. Patriots have a very good defense, and I think that will be the difference maker at home. Yeah, give me the Pats. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets just roll all over them and I look like an idiot, because that's what 2022 NFL has done to me.
You sound a little pissy right now.
I went 0-3 in all 3 fantasy leagues this weekend, and I'm letting it be known.
Fair enough.
I fucking hate this sport now.
Me too.
Well, speaking of crying at the podium, not you, Magoo. I mean, you can cry. On the show.
I can work one up.
That'd
Just
be
give me
kind
a
of
minute.
awkward.
We're talking about crying.
The Dan Campbell.
Some liquid would be leaving. Don't worry.
There's no reason for Bulldogs to cry.
No.
This is true. Dan Campbell last year was crying after the Lions fell to like 0-5, and I immediately had a vendetta against him because I felt like that was too early to be that emotional. He's got a nice little win streak going here in Detroit. It's 2 in a row, right?
Yeah.
And they have got those Giants in New York. And as much as I have been on the Fire Campbell bandwagon, I think that the Lions keep it up and they upset the Giants in New York.
Oh,
This is my big call of the week.
You're setting yourself up for some
real.
Like, when
You're falling for local sports propaganda. You are.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I just like Mark buying into that the entire problem was Aubrey Pleasant, defensive backs coach, the entire time.
Yeah. That was it.
We got our scapegoat. He's gone.
You could not find 2 more similar teams statistically. The Giants are 19th in overall in total DVOA, 15th offense, 24th defense, 16th special teams. The Jets the Lions are 20th, 13th offense, 26th defense, 19th special teams. So 13th versus 15th offense, 26th versus 24th defense, 19th versus 16th special teams. They've been almost the same team this season, and the Giants are 7-2, and the Lions are 3-6.
That's weird because the NFC East is much stronger too than the NFC North, huh?
I don't know how many division games they've played.
Right,
I
yeah.
say it right off here hand here, but yeah. So that's. I mean, I was expecting the Lions to be quite a bit further down. They're a lot closer than I thought they were. So an upset wouldn't necessarily be the craziest thing. But I'm a big believer in Brian Dable and what he's doing there, and there's just something about a coach that can get teams playing way above their heads. Because I think, like, looking at this statistically now, I think that the Lions haven't been bad so much as they've been unlucky, and they're 3-6. The Giants are 7-2. I think the Giants should be 5-4, and the Lions should be 5-4. I think they're both basically right there. So, between the two of them, I just think Dable is just a better coach than Dan Campbell, and that's not a criticism of Dan Campbell, really. It's just I really like Brian Dable. So I'm going to take the Giants here to win and cover at home.
It also doesn't help. I mean, one of the Lions' issues the entire year has been the run defense, and you have Saquon Barkley walking in, and if the Giants are their best where they can rely on Barkley and have Daniel Jones play within himself and take advantage of what he does well. And so if the Lions trend historically remains a very open team to the run, I do not think that that plays at all to it seems to be a really bad fit for what the Giants want to do right now. I mean, they ran 35 times against the Texans.
Mm-hmm. Saquon Barkley ran 35 times against the Texans. Yeah,
that's establishing the run right there.
I would say on the betting end too. I mean, unders are winning at a crazy rate this season. I wouldn't know personally because I can't bet in Texas, but I listen to a lot of betting commentary and actually Prize Picks. I can do Prize Picks, and that's pretty cool. But this one here, it's at 45. The over-under is at 45. I would probably bet the under on this one because I think a lot of people, I know from the DFS perspective, a lot of people are targeting this as like a potential blow-up game, and I could see it being the exact opposite. Both of these teams want to run the ball a lot, and both of them are really at their best when they run the ball, and neither one of them can really stop the other team from running the ball. So I think that they're probably both going to hit the under on their total plays, their average total plays in a game here. They're going to have fewer plays. The clock's going to be running more. I think this game probably goes under the spread or the over under.
Magoo or Buck?
Go ahead, Magoo.
All right. I think that this is going to be an untraditional, unsuspecting trap game because the Lions have already turned their attention forward a few days for their spotlight in the sun on Thanksgiving, and I think that the Giants due to better coaching feast a few days early.
Oh my goodness!
Did I hit every cliche tag in there?
Well, I can't follow that. Why did I let you go first?
Bills and Lions on Thanksgiving. It's going to be a freaking bloodbath.
That will be interesting. Not, but I okay. I'll just make it simple. Giants.
Fair enough. The fantasy stud Justin Fields is playing Magoo's Falcons.
Ooh.
Justin Fields is coming back home. I forget sometimes that he's actually like from here. But to answer Justin's question, yes, I did lose to your wife, and how dare you bring that up? I did, but a lot of people did because she's in first place in our division. So I guess
what was
everybody
the bet at night with Justin?
You got to join our fantasy league, Buck. You're missing out.
It's a different kind of fantasy.
It's all in the eye of the whatever. It's in the something of something.
I saw you just looked over at Justin. He's in that room.
Yeah. That was kind of
Justin's at work.
Mm-hmm.
Do work, son.
Get out from under the desk.
Knob polishing.
Yeah, he never left the South. He just diverted far east.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Urban Meyer was doing a Zoom call with the Big Ten or Fox Sports at one point, and some guy without a shirt like walks by, and you can see him in the reflection of the mirror, and Urban's like, get out. That's what that reminded me of.
I'll oil you up as soon as the cameras turn off. Go.
All right, anyways, Bears, Falcons. I think I've picked the Bears every week ever since their beatdown of the Pats, and they've lost every one. But I'm going to pick them again because Justin Fields is on a roll. They probably should have beaten the Lions this past week. And I'm sorry, Magoo, I still don't believe in the Falcons.
Well, that makes all of us. I guess I'll go real quick, just based on gut feeling. Justin Fields is playing like Michael Vick, and I think he's going to do Michael Vick things in Atlanta. I still don't believe in my team to beat good teams, and I think the Bears are better than the record shows. We need some bad teams to beat up on, and I just don't know what the hell they're doing. We got Cordell Patterson back. We're not utilizing them. The temperament here in Falconsville land is, where the fuck is Desmond Ridder? Everyone is over the Mariota experiment. They're tired of seeing it. He can't hit the tight end, the highest drafted tight end in NFL history with the widest wingspan of any tight end in NFL history. The Mariota time is done. It's over. It should have been dead 2 weeks ago. They need Ridder. I don't think they're going to get Ridder, and I think you start to see a Falcons fan revolt kick off after this game, after we lose to the Bears.
Yeah,
and I will lead that charge.
The Mariota time should have ended the moment he threw a no-look pass off of his butt last week.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, wasn't it?
Didn't work out so well.
So,
yeah, I'm torn on this one. I don't have I recognize that Fields is coming into his own right now, which I've no grudges against him for using a real BS excuse to transfer from Georgia back in the day. But yeah, I mean, it feels like the Bears have been very competitive for the last few weeks now, and just haven't got through at the win. And so I'm kind of just leaning with the do factor there, and just having no faith in the Falcons right now for reasons outlined.
I guess I'm going for the same thing. I for some reason I like Justin Fields, but it's the hype. I'm falling for some of the propaganda. I do hate that fantasy nerds are like, "Oh my God, he's amazing." And it's like, well, if this was my team, I'd still be pissed we're losing. But it is what it is. That's how things work these days. And I don't, no offense, Magoo, I don't have faith in the Falcons. I don't have faith in my team either. So we're in the same boat. I got the Bears.
Yeah. After 28-3, there's literally nothing anybody can say that's more offensive than that. So you are free.
Did you say 28-3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going for the Falcons too.
Not me.
Fuck you.
This is the most I've struggled on a pick here in a while. I keep going back and forth. I was going to take the Falcons because two bad teams picked the home team. Then you guys are getting me all hot and bothered talking about Justin Fields. And so then I'm thinking Bears. Then I come back and I look at the numbers here for their last 5 games. The Bears have scored basically 30 points in 4 consecutive games. And the first 2 of those games were at New England and at Dallas, 2 of the best defenses in the league. And then the last 2 have been Miami and Detroit, 2 of the worst defenses in the league. Meanwhile, Atlanta has been losing at Carolina, losing against the Chargers, scoring 15 and 17 points. And then they have their big blow-up game against Carolina. They scored 37 points. But then I see they put up 28 points against the 49ers a month ago. So both teams are capable of putting up points against good defenses. Both teams are facing a bad defense. I think I'm just going to take the Falcons and just live with it. I'm going to take the Falcons. This is another one that the over-under's at 49. This is another one that I would probably take the under on for a lot of the exact same reasons. It's just going to be nothing but running. There might be like 65 combined rushing attempts in this game. Probably more even. There might be 70 combined rushing attempts in this game. I don't see how you can get a game unless they run for multiple 50-plus yard touchdowns. I don't see how you could possibly get 50 points in this game between the two.
It's going to be the fastest game of the weekend.
Yeah.
Browns and the Bills. This is Brissett's last game, right?
Is this week 10?
Yep.
Week 11.
Week 11.
Week 11, yeah. So the next week they go to Houston then to face the Texans.
So does Brissett just let loose and chuck the ball all around?
No. This
Beat
is
the Browns.
They still have two
Bills.
games. Next
They
week,
do?
it's week 13 that they're going to Houston. So
Okay.
this is the penultimate episode for Brissett.
Nice. That's a big 50-cent word. I like it.
Mhm.
So in 2 weeks, Deshaun gets to go back to the old massage rooms. Okay. That's
Yep.
going to be a fun week for him.
Correct. As for this game,
Give
I
me a
think
break.
you guys talked last week about how the Browns' record should be like flipped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel that. I don't feel like that anymore.
They kind of laid an egg Sunday. Who did they lose to on Sunday?
Was it the Dolphins?
No, it was someone I was surprised.
It might have been the Dolphins because you guys were excited about the matchup.
Okay.
Yep,
But
Browns,
Yeah,
Dolphins.
yeah, Miami,
I wouldn't have been-
39-17.
Yeah, they kind of.
They looked like shit.
Yeah.
I don't think the Bills are going to lose 2 in a
No.
row.
Josh Allen's my favorite QB in the league to watch. I wish he was my QB on my team. He's not going to lose again like that. That was partially on him. That fumble there against the Vikings. There, he's going to take care of business quite easily. I love Nick Chubb too, but yeah, I got Bills in this one.
There's supposed to
agree.
be 6 feet of snow falling there between now and then. And I think that 30 inches of that is supposed to be on game day.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Well,
So,
that's,
I mean, that could help. I mean, the Browns and Chubb and Hunt, they like to pound the rock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still sticking with the Bills, but that's
it's time for Naheem Hines to prove why they traded for him. Even though he's not much of a just bowl you over runner. I don't know, man. Bills at home. Yeah, they're not going to lose 2 at home. Even if they were playing in Cleveland, you could maybe make the argument that they could lose 2 games in a row with this one being on the road, but they're not. They ain't losing 2 at home. They ain't that team. And that's my in-depth analysis.
I'm there with you. Though,
Yeah, I was going with the Bills up until that weather report, and I just remember that Eagles Lions game several years ago,
Mm-hmm.
where it
you
was
couldn't
like
see?
LaShawn McCoy. Yeah, LaShawn McCoy just ran wild. And if I'm going to pick any player to navigate that terrain right now with their current health status, taking Derrick Henry a little bit out of that. This could be a game where Nick Chubb just runs. He's got those snow tires on from being a Georgia boy. I'm going to go with him. Give me the Browns.
Yeah. So basically took the words almost exactly that I was going to say. I was coming to pretty much the same conclusion. The Bills have looked a little human the last few weeks. And it's not just, I don't think you can just chalk it up to Josh Allen's elbow. I don't think that's the only reason. Their defense has started to seem beatable. And especially through the run. They've a very good pass defense, but their run defense has shown some cracks lately. Dalvin Cook busted off an 81-yard touchdown or something against them last week.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the Bills of earlier in the season. And the Browns offense is not bad. I mean, we talked about this last week. They got the number 6 offense in the league. This is even after only putting up 17 points on a bad defense. That's driven by the number 10 offense and number 3 or number 10 passing offense, number 3 rushing offense. I think that a snow game like this, the Browns could easily put up 300 yards rushing as a team on the Bills. I wouldn't surprise me at all. And I don't think that sort of a game plays to the Bills' strengths. They're the pass happiest team in the league. And if you get a blizzard, then it's going to be functionally impossible to take advantage of that. And I don't see Josh Allen. If I'm going to take Josh Allen's legs against Nick Chubb's legs, I'm going to take Nick Chubb. So yeah, I'll take the Browns to win outright.
There was that game last year between the Bills and the Patriots, which was a bad weather game. Mac Jones threw the ball 3 times, I think.
That's right.
Allen threw the ball 40 times, and the Patriots won.
Yeah.
I got a question though, and Mark, you might not know or have this information, or anybody, but is it already snowing up there now? Like, are they able to practice in the snow? Because if they're able to spend a week in it, then advantage Bills back to them, especially if it's not doing that in Cleveland.
Good point.
Buffalo.
It sounds like Tho's on Wall Street or something.
Starts on Friday.
Shit. All right. Well, I'll stick with my pick. I've lost before. I ain't scared to do it again.
I'm gonna stick with the Bills too, but it's tempting to go the other way. Did you pick this one, Buck?
Yeah.
You said Bills, right?
Bills,
okay.
yeah.
I think the Eagles have a tricky game here.
Yeah.
Yes, and their tight end is now on IR.
Oh, is
Dallas
it Goddard?
Yes.
Oh,
good Lord. You got Ertz, Goddard,
Darren Waller.
Darren Waller.
Mark Andrews has been questionable.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. If the Falcons actually had a tight end, he could potentially be on IR, but they don't use him enough. So
yeah, maybe they need to draft one. Seems like they're not getting a lot of production out of the position.
probably top 3. I see a top 3 pick. Maybe that's
right. Yeah.
No, man, the Colts are fun again. Like
Matt
they just
Ryan,
don't
I
give a
guess,
shit.
back.
Yeah, what was that whole like? I was espousing it. I was like, no, they can't put Matt Ryan in because if he gets injured, there's an $18 million payout clause. That's what I was hearing. And then the first week that they get the old coaching regime out of there, they're like, yeah, fuck all that. Let's go win the game because we have the players and they're good, and let's use the good ones to do good things.
That's not what happened at all.
Oh shit!
They played a bad team.
Ah shit!
I think they're playing the Chiefs. Is it who are
The
they playing?
Eagles.
Oh
Eagles.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
6.5 point underdogs at home.
I can't wait to see how great all those players are this week, and that Jeff Saturday's coaching. Oh, it's going to be so good.
You think he comes back crashing to earth after the Eagles?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Yeah. With a name like his, he's meant to coach in college. You have to admit that. You have to admit that.
Any given Saturday.
Yes. Yeah, the Eagles are going to stomp them. Give me a break.
The interesting thing about the Colts is that, remember, they went into the season expecting to be one of the most complete teams in the NFL. And I get that Darius Leonard or Shaq Leonard or whatever he's going by now has back injuries, which is not what you want in your franchise linebacker. But they still got tools around them. Matt Ryan played better last week than he had earlier in the season. I'm not gonna. I like Frank Reich as a coach, so this is a very weird place because you're basically betting on Frank Reich being the problem. But I like the story. I'm going with we need more offensive linemen leading the team. So give me Jeff Saturday going with the upset.
Where's Wisniewski at? Yeah.
Buck and I were talking about this on Sunday. That I think it was Buck I was talking to about it. That there's
might have been Eastwood.
You get you get this dynamic sometimes when you have a coach that or a front office that decides to clearly go into tank mode, where it actually can be a force that galvanizes the team. And you can get a bunch of players who will play above their talent level, or if they've been playing below their talent level, you get them play at their talent level because they get kind of this like fuck you attitude to the front office. They're like, they're going to bet on us being bad. Well, we're going to show them we're not bad. We're actually good. And they can kind of come alive. And then you also get the new coach bump where a lot of teams will. You saw this with the Panthers earlier this year, that they fired Matt Rule and then went out and blew up the next game and obliterated the Bucs, and then went toe to toe with the Falcons in a shootout. They kind of get that. I mean, even if it's temporary, they get kind of a little bit of a high off of the coach being fired. I think that there's a really good chance, especially with Jeff Saturday being a former player and very much an offensive lineman in his mentality. Like, we're just going to go out, we're going to hit him in the face, let's go and force ourselves on the game, and being very much a player's coach in terms of personality. I think that there's a very good chance that he lights a fire under the Colts that wasn't there in the first place, and it's going to make Jim Irsay look like a genius. I don't know if Jim Irsay did this intentionally. I would bet not. But I'll just say that if I had known earlier than 30 minutes before game time that Matt Ryan was going to start this game, I would have made a lot of money last week because I was betting on Jonathan Taylor. I had a ton of Jonathan Taylor in DFS, and he hit. And the only reason I didn't have any Colts receivers was because, sorry, Buck, don't listen to this. The only reason I didn't have any Colts receivers is because I didn't trust Sam Ehlinger. But I really, really, really wanted to play a lot of Paris Campbell because he and Matt Ryan have really clicked in their last several games together. And sure enough, there we go. Paris Campbell blows up. I think that I'm gonna fully buy into the narrative here that I think the Eagles are kind of reeling a little bit with injuries. Not having Jordan Davis has really, really opened them up to getting gashed on the ground. They just signed Linval Joseph to try to fill that hole, but I don't think that he's necessarily going to incorporate and hit the ground running. So I think that this is probably the chance for another big Jonathan Taylor game. And the Colts, their defense is not that bad. So even in a year where they've been playing way under their talent level and really kind of sleepwalking through the year, they still have the 11th overall defense. So I think that their true talent level is probably higher than that. So with them being at home, with them having a very good defense and having a potentially rejuvenated offense, I'm going to take them, getting the 2 and the 1-2 punch to the Phillies' face, or to the Eagles' face. They got the first one from the Redskins. I'm going to say they get the second one from the Colts here.
I'm just going to say ditto everything Matt said, because that was going to be my exact take, but much dumber words. I think the story with the Colts is just entertaining, and I'm ready to be entertained. I think the Eagles have kind of they're living off of their ass kicking in the first 6 weeks, and after you do what you did against Washington, like you're going to have to prove it to me again. And I just think that the Colts, when you take the governor off, you take the leash off, and you just say, fucking go run free, see what the fuck happens. I think that that's something that can't really be game planned for. And I think if the Colts win, it's just a funner, experience. So
I can't escape just like visions of Saturday mania headlines just like dominating the week. That said, I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think that their secondary is gonna pick Ryan off a couple times. A good secondary, and I already picked one upset this week, and I can't get too frisky, as Matt would say. Rams at Saints.
Yeah,
We can make this quick if we want to.
Does anybody even know who's playing for like who's the star on either? Pick a team, either team. I don't know if there is one.
Cooper Kupp's out, isn't he?
Yeah.
Saints. That's then Saints. I'm not sure that I would have picked Rams with Cooper Kupp. Yeesh, what a game, Saints.
I think it's probably as simple as that. I mean, yeah, Saints. They're at home. It's weird to say defending Super Bowl champ with most all of their parts still intact, I guess. Suck this bad, like, get all the way out of my fucking football year. Saints, and I hate the Saints. So
I'm gonna go with the Rams. I don't know why. That's it. That's all I got.
You still have a soft spot for that QB.
That might be it.
Well, is Stafford even playing? They started Wolfenstein last week.
Wait, if that's his name, then I'm out.
What's the problem with Wolfie? Whatever the fuck his name is, Wolford.
It's not the wolf; it's the Stein that gets me.
Oh!
I saw that one coming. That was great.
That's what's in question, is it?
Mark is trying to get Chappelle to do an opening monologue about him next week.
I'll do one. It's like a poor man's version.
The Rams had the number 23 overall pass offense in the league with Cooper Kupp. They have the worst run defense and the worst run offense in the league. I think that's all I need to see. They're on the road. I don't think that there's any chance that this is, even if you might have an Allen Robinson take. I mean, I can't imagine that I just forgot his name, the Saints corner, Marcus Lattimore. I can't imagine that he's not going to have Allen Robinson responsibilities. So are we going to see the Tyler Higbee versus Taysom Hill show, I guess?
I hope so.
This sounds like just a fucking horror show of a game.
Yeah.
This is a very, very clear time for the two bad teams take the home team route.
It does appear that Stafford is practicing now after being in concussion protocol last week, if that impacts anything here. It is interesting. I mean, I was always wanting to see, because the Saints doubled down on this year, believing on this roster for some reason, making a playoff run, which always seemed very questionable. I mean, they're going into the offseason right now with no draft pick, that being in Philadelphia. It's the Rams have been a mediocre team all year, but I still believe in Sean McVay as a coach. And if Stafford plays, I'm still going to ride with them. I'm not saying it's a smart pick, but I'll still take Matt Stafford slinging the ball over Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston.
Van Jefferson for the win.
Year. I mean, Van Jefferson's a good player. I mean, he was injured at the start of the year, so he has a. I mean, I get idea. Who knows what Robinson's doing right now? I mean, that's one of the weirdest free agent signings. You give a guy that much money and not scheme it to him. But I think Van Jefferson can play. He's no Cooper Kupp, that's for sure. But I think there's still enough weapons there. I think there's just nothing about the Saints team right now that scares me on either side of the ball.
I got Ravens as 13-point favorites at home against the Panthers. Is that right?
That's what I'm seeing.
I'll take the over on that one. Give me Ravens with the points with Baker Mayfield starting.
Yeah.
I think we're all good for that. Yeah, I was going to say let's just pick the actual spread. I'm still got Ravens.
Yeah, I think that's unanimous.
Even after that headbutt thing that they keep showing, how cool was that, bro?
The Ravens are
the only issue is like Matt said earlier with the only saving grace there can be if Sam Darnold comes in and plays better than Sam Darnold's played in a very long time. So
the Ravens are just boringly good, and I see them handling business against the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean,
basically a Michigan win though.
Yeah.
You got Roquan Smith and Justin Houston now back, on the same defense.
And
maybe not back on the same defense, but on the same defense. They're going to fuck Baker's world to shit. This won't even. I'll take the over.
I don't even know why they're bringing Baker back in there. Like
they hate him.
Recent video I saw of Baker, he was playing defensive tackle for pass rushing or for pass blocking drills for the practice squad players. How do you go from that to now playing quarterback again when there's a healthy quarterback on the roster? I just honestly, I'd be kind of curious to see what Sam Darnold would do with DJ Moore and Laviska Shenault and Terrace Marshall and Dante Foreman. Like that's probably about as good of a supporting cast as he's ever had in his life. I'd be kind of curious to see what he does with that, but apparently they need to trot out poor Baker. I kind of feel for him because I don't think it's Baker's fault that he sucks, and he's kind of, I think he's kind of been dealt a raw deal. He probably needed to have more people around him that said, bro, you suck. Don't kind of take it easy. But yeah, this sounds like just a royal ass whipping to me.
That's kind of the issue, is that Baker Mayfield is a quarterback that needed to learn to play inside of structure. And yet he tries to pretend to be Josh Allen with a walk-on athleticism. And, that just doesn't work in the NFL.
He's literally Kyler Murray without the discipline.
Oh, damn.
Go out there and play and just make it happen. Headbutt your players. Who gives a shit? Fucking idiot.
He makes Taylor Heineke look athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, Tyler Heineke is a better athlete.
Yeah.
But they have a very similar skill set. Yeah, I would take Tyler Heineke right now over Baker Mayfield straight up.
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Well, Lovie Smith still has a job. And speaking of Taylor Heineke, they go into Houston and play the Texans.
Redskins, for sure.
I'm a roll with the Redskins as well.
Yeah.
Texans have one good player, it seems. And
Yes. Yeah. Pierce.
that's about it. Yeah.
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 I mean, Cooks doesn't even want to play for him anymore. He's not even showing up to games. He's like, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah. He's cooked. Yeah.
So, yeah, Skins.
And if there's one thing that Washington can do really well, it's stop the run. So you're getting they're the number 2 rush defense by DVOA this year. So you're getting the unstoppable force against the
Immovable object.
fastly moving object. I guess I don't know what it is. I'm going to take the unstoppable force in that competition.
Yeah. Well, isn't
Do you guys know where that
Washington-
phrase is from, by the way?
Where?
Mm-mm.
It's entered pop culture vernacular so well, but I'm a nerd. I know exactly. I watched it live. It's from WrestleMania 3 when Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant faced off.
Huh.
It was Gorilla
That's when it
Monsoon.
started?
Yeah, that's that Gorilla Monsoon.
Oh, yeah.
They did this face to face, and obviously Hulk was like the giant until he went up against Andre. And Gorilla Monsoon
WrestleMania
said,
3 up in Mark Metz's neck of the woods.
It was at the Silverdome.
Silverdome.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was the largest indoor sporting crowd attendance of all time until another WrestleMania. I think the one I went to in Dallas was 105,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, the irresistible force meets the immovable object. Yeah, it was intense. It was a good one. All right, back to where we were. Sorry to derail.
Doesn't Washington get their star defensive end back this week? Mr. Young? Is that his name? I'm not
Chase
that familiar. Yeah, he played with Ohio State a little bit.
Excellent.
It's very
I
good.
think that they're getting him back this week, and if so, it makes me question if I should start Dameon Pierce in one of my leagues because that spells danger. But yeah, I think the Skins are going to fuck him all the way up, and I feel bad because I like Lovey, and I respect the shit out of his beard, but I think it catches another L this week.
I just tuned in to just see how the XFL draft was going. And I'm looking at these quarterbacks that got going on. I can name. I recognize exactly 2 names in this entire list. So I'm not really speaking well. It's
Who? Which 2?
AJ McCarron,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
good Alabama guy, and Luis Perez, who was a trick shot quarterback who stumbled around one of these leagues. There's also an Anthony Russo, which is not one of the directors of the Marvel movies. The rest, no clue at all.
It'd be funny if he was.
Yeah.
It also sounds like the Karate Kid's name.
Yes, Daniel LaRusso.
Daniel, fuck me. Shit. Close. All right. Next game, Mark.
Daniel, fuck me. What are you talking to now?
We're gonna move on. We finally arrived, Buck, to your pick of the week: Raiders at Broncos.
I'll let you guys go.
boy.
Okay.
Then I'll rant for a second. I know we got a hard out at 8:30, but go ahead.
I don't know what to do with this. Magoo, do you know what to
I
do?
don't like it. I don't want it. I don't believe in anything anymore, especially these 2 teams, but I'm going to abide by when there's 2 bad teams, you go with the home team. Let's fucking ride.
Oh God.
Inspiring. I'm going with the Broncos too. I'm sorry, Buck.
Yeah. I don't want to, but I got it. Like I said last week or the week before, I'm going to start picking against the Raiders until they win. So I got to just stick to my guns.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm with you now.
Car seems broken, and I don't think it's going to be fixed this week in Denver.
No, something's going on. Obviously, you take a playoff team and then I believe what would be an upgrade from the playoff team. So you're giving the keys to a beautiful car, and you're ruining it. So I don't know what the heck's going on. So obviously, the defense is awful, but this. So I think what's the season high for Russell Wilson and the Broncos? It's something like 24 or something ridiculous like that.
23 points.
Okay, well they'll get more than that
in a loss to the Raiders.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, that's right. We
Nice.
beat them. So I suspect this week we lose. They will top that point total. Patrick, well, we've got Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller both on IR. So is it Patrick Surtain's that corner, isn't it, that's in Denver? He's going to lock down. All we got now is Adam, so he'll lock him down just enough to make it untenable. We ran the ball last time against them quite well, so that's possible. But like Magoo said, until they win, I'm picking against my beloved team, and I wish the coach would get fired.
And that place is going to be all over McDaniel.
I know. And Mark Davis said, well, no, Josh is doing fantastic. So he's got a different view of winning and fantastic than his dad did, unfortunately. So I take the Broncos. Yeesh.
Just meh, baby.
Yeah.
I saw a statistic the other day that the Broncos they're 3-6, and if they could score, I was trying to do the math here in my head. If they could score 18 points, it was either 18 points or 20 points, then they would be like 8-1. And it looks like the only time, I think it was 20 points, because the only time that they have given up more than 19 points in a game was the Raiders. They gave up 32 points to the Raiders. That was also when the Broncos had their high score of the season, which was 23.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the Chargers scored 19 points against them, and nobody else has come close to that. They are the first team since like the 40s, I think, to lead the NFL in scoring defense while being last in the NFL in scoring offense.
Wow.
They're just next level incompetence on offense, and they are genuinely one of the best defenses ever.
Is Judy out this week?
I think he's going to be. It didn't look good.
Well, he was writhing around in pain, and now he's day to day. So
yeah,
they're either playing fast and loose with the injury report, or he was acting. Either way, it's hard to say. If you watch the game, it looked like it was a blown Achilles and he's out for the year.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
But they're basically saying, actually, it was just superficial, and he's actually day to day.
I'm going to take Broncos to win cover.
The Patrick Mahomes is the NFL's all-time leader in passer rating. He's at 105.8. This year, the league owns a 107 passer rating against the Raiders.
Oh. Yikes. Phil, did you pick this game?
I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think this is a Foster Moreau game. I think this is a Mac Hollis game.
I picked up Foster. I hope so.
There you go. I mean, I still believe in Josh McDaniels in spite of everything that's gone on. You look at the Raiders season right now, and it really does look like a team that's just had awful luck. And, awful luck can continue throughout a season. I'm not dismissing that. You've got to get wins and losses. But, I mean, they've had 2 games all year where I think they've lost by more than a touchdown.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think the Broncos offense is going to Russell Wilson is still broken. I mean, the Broncos offense is still broken. That make up for the weakness that the Raiders have on that side of the ball. And, I think Josh McDaniels, if he can score 21 points with, obviously missing some pieces, I think they win. And I think that is within the realm of possibilities. So partly just to be a contrarian. On the other side, again, I don't believe Josh McDaniels is as bad as coach as the Raiders record. So I'm going to be rooting for Buck to be wrong about his team.
I'm like an abused spouse. Boy, it's tempting to just say what you just said. Damn it. Still not switching my pick. I'm going to be the obstinate rebel here against my love.
Well, game of the week, as far as records go, we got Cowboys at Vikings, which probably won't live up to Bills and Vikings.
I don't think it's possible.
Could see points, though.
Will it live up to Dallas and Packers?
That's true. Maybe it does live up. I don't know. I think, man, the Vikings are. I think they win this division, but I'm still surprised by them.
How is Dallas getting 1.5 on the road in Minnesota?
Yeah, what's the weather going to be there?
Minnesota gets
inside.
disrespected big time. There was a headline this last week that said we're now placing Minnesota in the elite category. It's like they've only lost one game. Why now you are? But it's the Dallas bias. Jerry Jones and Minnesota really comes across as a small market team. I got Minnesota in this. I will be rooting for them. I hope this is the case.
Yeah, I'm with you, Buck. I just don't. I'm not a believer in the Cowboys at the moment. The Vikings seem to be defying all odds and doing crazy shit that they shouldn't be doing, yet here they are. And I don't think it's too tall of a task to ask them to win at home against another team that's probably also looking 4 days ahead for the biggest game of the week. So, yeah, Vikings.
I am going to go with Vegas on this. For two
we're not
reasons.
playing in this one. We're playing in Denver.
The number Vegas. For two reasons. It's 4:30, not 1 o'clock, and the Cowboys have a good pass rush. And I think Kirk Cousins is going to find himself on his butt a few too many times and make some mistakes, and the Cowboys pull out the win.
Remember how we were talking about how the Giants and the Lions are really, really similar teams at 19th and 20th overall in DVOA? The Vikings are 17th. So the one team that's between the Vikings and the Giants is the Falcons. Minnesota is, again, very, very similar to the Giants and the Lions. Their offense has been slightly worse. Their defense has been slightly better. Their special teams has been slightly worse. Just for context, these are the teams just ahead of the Vikings. It would be the Jaguars, the Browns, and the Packers. And then you have the Falcons, the Giants, the Lions, the Redskins, and the Broncos coming up behind them. That's the company that they're keeping, statistically speaking. Now, I'm very much one to believe in a coach's ability to elevate a team psychologically, game prep, and it's possible that the Vikings have only played as well as they have because that's all the better they've had to play in order to win their games. I think that's perfectly fair. Meanwhile, you have the Cowboys, who had Cooper Rush at quarterback for the first half of their games, more than half of their games so far this season. And they have the 12th overall offense. They've got the number 2 overall defense and number 3 overall special teams. They're 6-3, but I think the only reason why they aren't one of 2 teams with in the top 10 in all 3 categories is just because they had Cooper Rush for a while. I think if you had Dak Prescott there all year, there's a very good chance that Dallas would be 8-1. All those things together, they did just lose to the Packers, so maybe that cuts against a little bit of what I'm saying here, but I think that Dallas is simply a better team, and I'm going to take them with the points. And this is one that I think will go over the spread.
Yeah, I mean, there's a sneaky line right here after all the headlines, and it gets to the point where I think it's foolish to bet against Vegas on this one. I see that within the margin here, it's not your standard minus 110. Dallas is now at minus 117, so they're factoring that in there as well. Again, I like the Vikings as their season-long prospects, but I'm not betting against Vegas on that. I'm giving the Cowboys.
All right, quickly, Bengals, Steelers. I don't see Bengals losing twice to the Steelers this season. I think they were starting to hit a pretty good offensive stride before the bye week, and I think that continues with the Bengals coming out on top over Pittsburgh.
I've got the Steelers.
I feel like you got to add something to that. Is there any reason?
TJ Watt is back. And I think the Steelers have a legitimately very good defense. And without Jamar Chase, I'm not going to bet that Joe Mixon has another like 60-point fantasy game. I don't think that you're going to be able to run 6 touchdowns through one player again, and especially against the Steelers defense with TJ Watt back. So I see this really as kind of two, I wouldn't say bad teams necessarily, but I think the Steelers are probably a bad team with a very good defense, and Cincinnati is probably a decent team that could have a very good offense, but not having Jamar Chase is a big deal. So given that the Steelers are at home and that it's a divisional clash and an AFC North divisional clash, I'll take the home team.
Once again, I agree with Matt. I'm just not a believer this week in the Bengals. TJ Watt coming back definitely helps. And I think the Steelers are slowly starting to get it together. I think they're, beginning to at least not lose games like they were at the beginning of the year. And I don't suspect they'll do that at home. And I see that Cincinnati's favored, but I don't. That doesn't mean nothing to me.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on Zach Taylor as some sort of offensive genius. Their schemes seem boring and not adapting to in-game adjustments right now. I think that I'm still waiting. There's going to be a game here, and this is a very foolish way to pick a game. But there's going to be a game here where George Pickens just comes in and puts up 2 touchdowns and 150 yards. And why not the Bengals? Why not the Bengals? Kenny Pickett is he's got growing pains. He's working at it. Mike Tomlin did finally get his win against the Saints. I think maybe they may have been the only team he hadn't beat yet.
It was.
I'm betting on George Pickens' blow up game here. I think that's enough to get past the Bengals.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm picking the Bengals, so take that.
There we go. I'm not left alone.
Yeah.
Although TJ Watt probably will feast.
Yeah.
There
Chiefs
is
Chargers.
To make the argument for the Bengals. Their defense is legitimately very good as well. Number 9 pass defense, number 12 rush defense, and offensively they've been very good. Part of that, you get that when you put up 6 touchdowns, put up 5 touchdowns in the first half against another team, but their offense is 8th and 12th pass offense, 5th rush offense. So the Bengals are not a bad team. So I don't think that that taking the Bengals is necessarily a fish take here, but I think that I'll take the Steelers.
Chiefs, Chargers, consistency versus disappointing. Give me the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Chargers are too banged up. Their wide receivers can't find a way to get healthy or better, or they continue to get more injured. They're pissing me the fuck off. Yeah, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Kadarius Toney blow up game.
Yeah.
Chiefs winning cover.
Coaching QB.
Tony ending up with the Chiefs just seems unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch. The Chiefs are going to end up drafting like Brock Bowers next year, and they're just going to reload with baby Tyreek Hill and baby Kelsey. It's sickening, but I'm gonna ride with it.
I don't think the Giants knew what they had with Tony. I thought that they just maybe personalities clashed there, but
yeah, definitely.
There's a tweet from Danny Kelly at The Ringer from a couple years ago, and he's watching film in the offseason, and he said 31 teams are going to have to do whatever they can to keep the Chiefs from drafting Kadarius Toney. And they did, but fate won out in the end. And the guy just looks like he's just on another level out there. He's clearly head and shoulders above everybody else out on the field.
He reminds me a lot of Percy Harvin, but just
twitchier.
Yeah,
catch too.
Yeah. So and then Hardman. I think Mecole Hardman is potentially out again. Juju is almost certainly out. He got his bell rung. And then MVS had a concussion as well, I think, or he'd left injured, and he's questionable, not practicing, something like that. So there's just all signs pointing toward a Kadarius Toney just absolute monster blow-up game.
The Niners at Cardinals. I don't know if you guys saw the graphic after the Niners beat the Chargers last week about Jimmy Garoppolo has a great record when he doesn't even throw a touchdown pass. And someone compared it to when you're part of a group project and don't do anything but still get an A.
Yeah.
This is what the Niners are. When you got Debo and now McCaffrey and George Kittle, I'm taking them over the Cardinals.
Same.
Well, it's a similar thing with the Rams. Is Kyler going to be back? He's got that hamstring issue. If they end up having to go with Colt McCoy again and no Zach Ertz, and they're going to have to put out their rookie tight end to fill that void, I don't know how you have faith in them. Cardinals seem like a slow burning dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers seem to be slowly chugging along, and I think that this is the week where the two completely pass each other in opposite directions. Then the Niners make their claim going forward for the playoffs.
Yeah, I wanted to believe in the Cardinals for a while now. I really wanted a air raid offense to work in the NFL. I really hope the team hires Mike Leach. I think Mike Leach would be a great
Yes.
Yes.
Oh God.
That would be
I
fun.
mean,
He can shut them in the locker. Yes.
yeah. I mean, swing your sword. It'd be great. But I have no faith.
Love that man.
So yeah, I there's nothing I particularly like about the. I'm tired of Jimmy G. The 49ers are. I feel like it's weird because they're still. They are still one of the top teams in the NFL right now, and maybe I've missed a lot of football the last few weeks. I'm still not sinking in with the CMC stuff. I still for some reason feel disappointed with the 49ers, but I'm definitely going to take them in this matchup.
Colt McCoy or Chase Daniel? Who would you rather as your backup quarterback?
Chase Daniel.
I'd rather younger. Chase Daniel's bank account.
Yeah, no kidding.
For sure.
But Mike Leach to the Panthers needs to be a reality.
Oh,
that hashtag needs to get kicking.
I just came. That sounds amazing.
Goodness. We've had a good night.
I feel like we should end on that.
49ers win and cover.
There you
Sweet. All right. Buck?
Before we
yeah.
Niners for sure. Before we get out of here, though, I know you gotta head out. Trump's speech, yay or nay?
The problem is, Trump was very disciplined. The problem is disciplined Trump is boring Trump.
Okay.
Humble Trump.
Yeah, I mean, and Cernovich made this point earlier, right? Is that people are talking about the delivery and all that sort of stuff, but people aren't sharing clips. And I think there's something said about that. The meme magic wasn't there in 2020. All the great Donald Trump memes were in Spanish language. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved. I mean, the boat parade song in Spanish slapped. I mean, that was a great song. I feel like they're trying too hard. And the problem is you have a grifter class desperate to improve their standing in Mar-a-Lago that I don't think is helping matters. So I'm
the only clip being shared is libertarians. He thought he's going to kill your favorite weed dealer.
You're right, exactly. Yeah. Standing up bravely for your local fentanyl dealer. That's exactly what I expect from modern libertarians.
What's the age of consent to die by fentanyl? Is that what they're debating these days?
Yes. And if
Pretty
you need
much.
a GL driver's license to do it,
Yeah. All right, Tho, where can people find you?
Find me at Tho Bishop, THOBISHOP on Twitter.
Sweet. Buck, any plugs?
at Buck Rebel, Twitter, BUCKREBEL. Counterflows the show on YouTube, except for the one that I dropped last week, which is now gone.
Interesting.
Magoo?
Yeah, don't follow me on Twitter. I don't do anything on it except lurk at everybody that's already on the show. But you can check out my podcast, Ignore the Rant. We just dropped an episode this week where I think we literally say everything that should get us taken off, but our audience isn't big enough. So get the audience up so that we can get banned from everything.
Send feet pics.
There we go. Matt?
At Real King Pilled on Twitter. I've actually started getting a little active again. So Yeah, you're not going to get sports takes probably, but you'll get politics takes.
Frisky too.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Laters.
Later, guys.